Let's wrap up here with some case studies. We have two examples here. And what happens when you inherited assets at 30 years old, then what happens when you inherited assets at 60 years old. So me being 30, I'm going to be biased here. Andrew, give me a case study of what happens when one of your millennial clients inherited money at 30 years old. Dilemmas and considerations.
Yeah, so 30-year-old, you inherit assets. So let's again go through probably the three most common: life insurance, real estate, so primary home, as well as like a 401k or IRA. In this case, the biggest thing to consider when you're 30 years old again is, okay, the life insurance, I have to cash it out. 100% tax free, again, majority of the time. That money you can do whatever you want: pay off debt, travel, invest it yourself, etc. The IRA, 401k, again, with the 10-year rule, that account has to be fully cashed out by year 10. Depending on the age of the person who left it to you, also determines if you have to take out a little bit per year, or you can wait till year 10 and take it all out. So I've had, again, at 30 years old, a lot of clients where we've said, hey, maybe we do start taking this money out incrementally just to avoid a big tax bomb. I've also had many say, maybe I'll defer it till year 10 and just rip the band-aid off. And especially now that we know with recent tax reform, what tax rates will look like at least through the next 3 years, that planning is really important to figure out, okay, what do we do? And again, what do we give up if we take out too much income and we recognize it? So oftentimes for the younger person, when they inherit assets, it all boils down to, what can this do to make life easier right now? Is it paying for your kids' college and fully funding that? Is it paying off your debt, student loans, mortgages? Or is it just deferring this money to be an asset in the future, or some combination of all those? So I've worked with a lot of people who inherit money, and again, they're not so quick to spend it. Like, they're not licking their chops thinking, oh, time to burn this money. They're thinking like, this is going to set me up pretty well if I'm not an idiot here and I do good things with it. So that's the biggest thing is, again, when you're a young professional, you inherit assets, how can you leverage those to set you up? And again, be cognizant of the different things you can do with that money. Spend it, gift it, invest it, pay down debt. What's the important stuff to consider?
Yep. Okay. And then the 60-year-olds, the retiree, or soon to be retired, and all those considerations. I know my parents, they retired when both my mom's parents passed away. They had enough money. They're like, woo, we're done.
That's the big dilemma, right? So oftentimes you have a client, and I'm working with one right now who inherited assets, same age, around 60. And, our plan is like, one of them was an IRA. So she's working part-time now because she doesn't have to work full-time. But we're going to use that IRA to supplement her income, and do it at a level while the account's going to be depleted in 10 years. The rest of the assets were non-qualified, so they got to step up in basis. So we're able to diversify her holdings some, reduce some risk given her age. But we're also probably going to be doing a lot of gifting, some significant gifting, because she was pretty wealthy herself already. So again, it wasn't like, oh, all this money expedited my life. It just made it really bigger. But that's the planning component we're working on now is, okay, we can fully retire. We can use these assets to give you the income you want. But we're being mindful of everything from, health insurance premiums before she's 65, taxes, also looking at her own longevity of, okay, if you live till 100, let's make sure you have enough assets and they keep growing. So retiring assets near or in retirement oftentimes, again, can be that life improving situation. I've also seen clients, again, they inherit assets at that time. And you're right. They're like, I'm done working. I plan to work 6 more years. If I can get out now, I'm out. And then I've seen others, if they're already done working, they use it for lifestyle. Like, okay, I'm going to take my kids and travel, et cetera. So a lot of flexibility there. But I'd say in both circumstances, the three big considerations are, again, how does it affect your taxable income? How does it affect your priorities with your money? And then third, how can it, again, alleviate some of the constraints in life? Like, what are the big concerns? What are the big goals people are working on or have? And how can the inheritance, help support that?
Right. And the best time to reach out is always yesterday, but the second best means now. So, Andrew, if anyone has any further questions out there from your current clients, existing clients, best way to get in touch with you, let them have it. Any questions? Where can they reach
They
you?
can reach me at andrewkrose.com. You could also find me on YouTube, Andrew K. Rose Financial, and of course on LinkedIn. Find me, Andrew Rose, in Raleigh, North Carolina.